24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salam Radio.
Assalamu alaikum, dear listeners. Welcome to Salam Radio, the voice of knowledge and inspiration. I'm your host, Mehtab, and we are thrilled to have you join us today for a brand new episode of Education Matters. Education Matters is your go-to destination for all things education. Whether you are a student, a teacher, a parent, or just someone who is passionate about the power of learning, this is the show for you. Each week we'll dive deep into the world of education, exploring the latest trends, innovations, and challenges in the field. We look to also bring you inspiring stories, expert interviews, and practical tips to help you navigate the educational landscape. And the best part is we're not here to lecture you. We're here to have a meaningful conversation and engage with you, our wonderful listeners. So if you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas about education, don't hesitate to reach out to us. So grab your favorite cup of tea, settle in, and let's embark on this educational journey. Education Matters, which starts now. And today, on our episode of Education Matters, we will be discussing teaching as a career for people out there who would like more information on that and maybe thinking about taking teaching down as a career. We'll look into why you may want to go into teaching, the salary, the training, and so much more. Today, unfortunately, my brother Shamir was unable to make it today due to other commitments. So it will be just myself and anyone listening out there. If you'd like to get involved into today's show, I'll just run down the plan for today, and then hopefully if there's anything that you'd like to contribute to the show, I will give you the details where you can get in touch. Teaching as a career, we will be discussing the heart of teaching, where we will be looking into the joys and the challenges that we face as teachers. Then we'll go into how teaching is it's not just a job, it's more than just a job, and look into the impact it has on yours and the life of society, really. Then we'll look further into the pathways of how one can become a teacher, and that is where we will look into qualifications that you would need, and in terms of whether you're going to university or the teacher training, how that works. And we will definitely go into the classroom chronicles, the every day-to-day job of a teacher, what it involves and what you could be expecting. And finally, we'll finish off as we will be discussing about making an impact beyond the classroom. So, if you'd like to get in touch, our listeners out there who are thinking about teaching and would like to ask a question, myself, I'm a qualified teacher, qualified as a maths teacher, or if you'd like to share your views and comments, you can call us on 01733 602 133. That is 01733 602 133. If not, you can always text into the show, and our number to text is 074 1119 1062. That's 074 1119 1062. You can also comment on our live stream. Our show is on a live stream over at Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or X as it's known as, or Twitch. So if any of you are streaming our show, please do leave a comment as to what you think of teaching as a career, or if you have any questions, please fire anything, to get involved with the show. If you are listening to this at a later day, so not watching it live, do please still look to get involved by leaving some comments on our streams. So it gives us a point to discuss. Our topics on a weekly basis are combined from doing a research of what you listeners would like to hear in terms of education matters. So if there are any topics, subjects that you would like to hear more on from a teacher perspective, or other experts that we also invite on our show, do please get in touch. So far, we've been discussing about parents' evenings. We've been talking about challenging behaviors. There are many things that we have been obviously discussing over the past few weeks, but we want to make sure that we are catering for what our listeners would like to discuss. So please do get in touch with us and let us know any topics that you are particularly interested in and would like to get put your thoughts forward. The heart of teaching, the joys and the challenges. Okay, so the heart of teaching, in a teaching profession, it is one of those jobs where you have to really enjoy the job itself. You can't go into teaching because you need a job. So teaching, it cannot be something like, I need a job. It doesn't matter what it is. So I'm going to go for teaching. If you are looking at taking teaching as a career, just make sure you've done your full research of what that job entails in terms of from the day one of training to being as an ECT, which used to be called the NQT, to then finally becoming a qualified teacher. So it is very important that you do, like you would do in any other job. I would take extra caution and extra research with teaching. Go out there, get some experience. Just if you were to just call some schools and just say, looking to observe, or speak to the teachers. You can get in touch with myself or Shamir to give you the joys and the challenges and the experiences that we have before you make that decision. Because the job of a teacher, whether you're maths, whether you're English, whether you're science, whether you're PE, whatever you're teaching, you have to be in it. You have to enjoy the core element of teaching and seeing that progress in our lovely students, from taking them from A to B, because that has to be there. That fire in the belly has to be there. That enjoyment, the satisfaction of making that difference in our students have to be there. Otherwise, it can, get very difficult in terms of the, day-to-day coming in, working, going home. It can get very, very difficult. So make sure you do your research. Alhamdulillah, I am 6 years into teaching, and alhamdulillah, very, very positive 6 years. I can also say they've been on an upscale from, I would like to say, from day one of training, was the most difficult year. And then year on after that, it just got easier and easier, and alhamdulillah, really enjoying the profession. And in terms of joys, what I enjoy about the teaching myself as a teacher, the fact that I am able to, alhamdulillah, every morning when you're waking up, especially in December, there will be some days where your body's just tired, your mind is just tired, physically, emotionally, but overall, alhamdulillah, every day where we're waking up, I am looking forward to going into work and, go out there and do my job. And the joys of that is you're going out there and, when someone does ask, what do you do? I was thinking about the other day, people asking, what is it that you do? And, yes, we're teachers, but another way to put it, we we help or we support people to become doctors. We train doctors, we train lawyers, we train our engineers, we train our future. I mean, personally, that's what I would say a teacher job is. Let me know with your comments if you disagree. As a teacher, that's what we do. Collective, obviously, with the support network that the students have around you, you are training those people to go out there and have the brightest future and do what they will enjoy and make a difference to their society, to their personal life. So that's what my job is, as just to say, I train the future. I train people who are going to be doctors, who are going to be engineers, and go into whatever profession they're in. That's that itself brings joy, that you are bringing something positive back to the society. And I think that is one of my biggest joy, that I am making. And always, especially when I'm in the classrooms, and one of the other joy that I would have on every lesson is where there's a moment where, we're doing solving equations, for example, and at the start, the student would be not able to do, sir, fraction is the best one, because when we start fractions, the first thing that you hate, I hate fractions. I don't know why, but unfortunately, it's something that's always comes up. And towards the middle of the lesson, or even towards the end of the lesson, the positive comments that you hear, you know what, it's not too bad. I get it now. And then the best thing, I think, when you hear, oh, I see that moment there, that we have been able to, explain the logical understanding, the whatever the topic is, it could be science, English, maths, or whatever it is, that you are able to see your student show the level of understanding that that you set out to be in your objectives, and they have achieved that. And that just a moment of saying, oh, I get it. That biggest joy of myself, biggest joy for me in teaching. It's always said by the public, one of the joys, the holidays, is something that I'm not going to deny, of course. We look forward to our holidays. It's 2 weeks. Then you get, after every, let's just say, at most 7 weeks, you get another week off, then another 2, then another week. So it is something, another big joy in terms of, the holidays that we get. And especially if you are a family with the kids, if you have children and then you're a teacher, the fact that, usually if you're working anywhere else apart from teaching, you might find it difficult to get time off in the holidays. You put, 28 days, 4 weeks off, and it may be used elsewhere. And, you get the national holidays where it would match with your kids being off school as well. But it's not always the case. You may have to work, especially when it's summertime. You're not going to get that long holidays from your work. So I think as a parent, I am most looking forward to being off from work where, I could spend time with my child. And I think that is another big joy of the holidays itself. If we talk more into the career/progression side of it, I think as a teacher, there is a financial benefit year on, every year. There is a ladder that you can climb in terms of, you may still be doing the same job, but in terms of your salary, you climb up. I think it goes from M1 to, let's just say, M6. As it goes up, the amount of money that you get each year, then each month, it increases based on that, which is obviously based on performance, but that performance is you basically just doing your job, really, and meeting those targets, which haven't, which is something as long as you are doing your job, you will meet those targets. So there's a financial joy of that. I think one of the biggest changes which has probably created more joy in teaching profession is how there are academies, the number of academies increasing over the years. So if you went into teaching back in the days, let's just say in the early 2000s or even earlier, the career progression would have been from, you working as a teacher, then you may go into as a deputy of a department, and then you probably go to head of department, or you can go towards being a head of a year, where you're looking at more like a pastoral. So you got the academic side or the pastoral side. So academic would be obviously teaching, being a second in department, and then being head of maths, for example. And then the pastoral side could be you being in school as a support officer. So you could be in charge of, like, let's just say year sevens, or it could be a house that you're in charge of where the students are grouped together. You can also go into being the head of house. And then there's the AP job, the assistant head job, deputy heads, and so on. So those are the different type of progression that you would have had, I would say, by early in the days, in the 2000s or even earlier. Well, I think from since schooling have started, you would have had those kind of progression. But now, with the development or progression of academies, the number of academies that we have now, the difference it makes for you as a teacher, that there are more number of jobs out there. So, you don't have to go into a deputy role or a head of maths. There may be like a director of maths after that, that you could climb. There could be something that you could be working as within what we call the trust, which is in charge of all the academies. So you could have a school, you could have a trust which is in charge of 7 different academies. So rather than you progressing within that one particular school, you could be in charge of, let's just say, Key Stage 3 English across all of your schools. And your job could one day be working from home, could one day mean working at one school, and another day at another school, and another day at another school, where you're just going and supporting that department to run its big plan as a trust within those academies. So those professions, those jobs, I wouldn't say were as common before, but there is that side to it as well. So, there are, in terms of career progression, there are more opportunities, I would say, now than there ever have been before. Challenges. As a teacher, I think one of the biggest challenges, obviously, the term time that you have, there's no holidays given to you. You can't book 28 days off and be like, okay, I want to go on a holiday. Because what you will realize is, when we get holidays, and that's the most expensive time of the year. So if I was to book a holiday, I would be booking it either Easter break, summer, Christmas time, and, whenever we get holidays from school. That is the most expensive peak time. So the hotels, the flights, everything would be at the peak. Is the most expensive prices they are. And that is because obviously those are the only time that you can go, because you are restricted with the no time off. The only time that you can, there is obviously, in terms of if there's an emergency, family emergencies, there are days that you can have off for those. But what I'm saying in terms of booking time off, I just as I need to go away with my friends for 2-3 weeks, so that's not possible. So that you will get allowance if you, for example, there's like a close death in the family, there's like a childcare issues, if you like there's a funeral, for example, and others, like if you're moving house, there's allowance for that as well. So there are allowances. And obviously if you're ill, you're ill, you're not expected to go into work. And yeah, so that is one of the challenges, when if your friends are doing something which is out of the hours of, or out of the days of the holidays, then you have to go to work. You can't take time off from work. And yeah, and the other thing I think I already touched upon is when we go holidays, everything's expensive to go away. Everything very, very expensive, and that is another challenge as a career in teaching that you would have to face. um I think the first year of teaching, which is the training year, it is very, very difficult. Sorry, let me just rephrase that. The training year is the most difficult year of any teaching years that you would have. um I don't think I would say it's very, very difficult. It's not. I think it's just more difficult than other years. What the training year could involve. So if you're taking like the PGC, QTS, it could be like where you are teaching 4 days a week. One of the days you are, along with other trainee teachers, meeting at a school where you're just going through the other side of, the theory side of teaching, going through all the training that you need to, and dealing with obviously the week that you had, what strategies you used, and then talking about those and looking to improve your, the strategies that you use, and helping each other really. And it also involves you putting together evidence to show against, what we call teaching standards that we have in the UK, that we have to all abide by. So you are having to, create evidence of lesson plans, lesson observations, and so on, and that goes all into a big bundle. Then that is something that the training providers have to judge you against, and then that is where you are decided whether you pass, or you are a qualified teacher as such, or if there's more support needed. So that is something I found as a challenge. But alhamdulillah, once I went through that, after that everything, it was a very, very smooth ride, and alhamdulillah, just been getting easier and easier every day. You got to realize every day that you are out there working with any job, you are building your experience, and with teaching you are building your resources and experience. So the topics that I'm teaching now, with any year, I would have taught them for the past 5 years. So the way I will teach, the strategies that I will use would have improved. So that's why it gets easier, and that's why the training year compared to the other years is quite difficult. um Other challenges, the day to day, what you can expect in a school in terms of, um you have to be able to switch emotionally. So for example, if you're having a bad day at home, you cannot go into that school. I mean that's like with other jobs. If you're sitting in front of the computer, if you're not seeing any client, for example, you can still be seen. You can still perhaps, your facial expression be showing that you are not yourself today. You are a bit annoyed. But when we are working in a school, if I had a bad morning, or there's something going on at home, or there's things outside of school which are emotionally and mentally affecting me, I walk into that classroom and I have to just turn those emotions off, turn those feelings off while I'm teaching, because the students will pick that up. And I mean, if I was to give you an example, if I stand, we stand at the corridor, at the door frame, welcoming our students. If I'm there saying, yeah, hello, come in. Yeah, come in. Yeah, come in. in comparison to, good morning, Adam, how are you today? Yeah, hello, how are you? Did you get the homework done? Excellent, come on in. This is what we're doing today. Yeah, you're ready, good to go? There's a massive difference. And I think we need to appreciate that, our mental and health being kind of the impressions can be seen on our body as well. So it is important that we as teachers, that's one of the challenges that we face. We switch off and then we go into the school teaching as the happiest that we can be. It's important that we show that we are enjoying teaching, because if we are not, it's something that students can pick up on really well. And that also means from a lesson to lesson. You could have one very bad lesson and then the students are waiting to come in for the next one. And you don't have that time to deal with it at that time. So it's something that you're going to have to deal with later. And then you start again, all happy, jolly, and you go again with that lesson. Right, so that was me just talking about teaching as a career, the heart of teaching, the joys and the challenges. Inshallah, after the break, we will be discussing how it's just more than just a job. See you after the break. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Are you looking for a career where you can make a difference? At Cross Keys Homes, we work with our local communities to create opportunities that change lives. We're looking for enthusiastic, talented people to join our team, from apprenticeships to senior management positions. Cross Keys Homes can support your development while you enjoy great employee benefits. There are so many opportunities for you to shine. Apply to join the Cross Keys Homes team at crosskeyshomes.co.uk.
Are you a savvy shopper searching for the best food deals? Look no further. Adams Cash and Carry can help you save big. We're not just a food wholesaler for takeaways and restaurants. We also welcome household customers at our warehouse in Westwood, Peterborough. Visit our website and enjoy wholesale prices on everything from drinks to flour, rice to burgers, and much more. To shop, go online and collect in store. Visit adamscashandcarry.co.uk today to start your savings spree.
2020 World Buffet is inspired by the best foods from around the world. See our teppanyaki chefs grill your food to order, or choose delicious Indian, Italian, Chinese, Mexican dishes and British favourites, all halal. 2020 World Buffet offers you unlimited food at a set price. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner. Catering, wedding and party services available too. Call 01733 566 320 or visit 2020buffet.co.uk. 2020 World Buffet, 35 New Road, Peterborough, PE1 1FJ.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Worried your tenants could stop paying their rent during this cost of living crisis? Next Move Estate and Letting Agents are offering landlords 12 months rent in advance. You'll get your rent paid for the whole year in advance. No strings attached. Too good to be true? It really is that simple. So get in touch with us today for this extremely limited offer. Call Next Move now on 01733 641 642 to find out how we can help.
It's time to protect yourself against COVID-19 and flu. If you or a family member are eligible for a vaccine this winter, then you can book an appointment or find a walk-in clinic online. Just search for COVID and flu vaccines Peterborough. Even if you've had a COVID-19 or flu vaccine previously, whether it was just once or more often, it's still important to get and remain protected. So to find out more, simply search online for COVID and flu vaccines Peterborough.
Assalamu alaikum, dear listeners. Welcome back to Salam Radio, the voice of knowledge and inspiration. So, I'm your host, Mehtab, and on Education Matters, we have been discussing teaching as a career, and we have been sharing with you the heart of teaching, the joys, the challenges that you could be facing if you take teaching as a career. Please note, we're not here, um we're here sharing our opinions, our experiences. I'm sure everyone would have a different experience, and if you'd like to share yours, please do get in touch by calling into the show on 01733 602 133. If not, you can text us into the show on 07 411 191062. We are also on a live stream which is on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch. You can always leave comments on there that we can share with our listener. And even if you're watching it after it has gone live, please do get involved by sharing your views on teaching as a career. So, I think the next thing that we had on our list was how the teaching as a career is more than just a job, and I'd just like to touch upon how that is closely linked with what we were discussing earlier about the joys, which is at the heart of teaching. It definitely is more than just a job. Like I mentioned earlier, you are making a difference to the society, to the future of our society, and an impact that we are making, and it is a continuing effect through generations. You would have, there are students that would, come into my class and say, "Oh, you're Mr. Akram, you taught my brother," and then so on, and it is going to be impacting through generations because they will remember you. You will have an impact on those. So it is important to understand, hence why it's not a profession that I would suggest for anyone to go into without, just for the sake of having a job. I'll be honest with you, if anyone does ask, I'm looking into a job, I always say go into teaching because it's so amazing, it's so rewarding, and the joys of it I discussed earlier, and it is something that I definitely would recommend. However, I'm not recommending it as just if it's a job that you're looking for. I'm recommending it as a career, as an impact of a society that you can make. So please, again, do your research, find out what it entails and what your day-to-day job could be and what it would be like. So, so it is, more than just a job. How you as a teacher, it could make a difference to the people that you are teaching. I do want to share. Literally the other day, there was a parent that got in touch about saying how their child was inspired when I used to teach them, and now they kind of lost motivation. And to hear things like that, it is something that you're not just going there to do a job. You're making a difference to people's lives. You're inspiring people to a certain subject that you are teaching. And you're inspiring them to change their goals, perhaps, or achieve their goals. So it definitely is more than just a day-to-day job. It is you're having a massive impact on the public, on the society that you're working with. And, it is, I do very, openly speak to my students in terms of the career choices that are out there. So, they are kind of inspired to do whatever it is that they want to do, whatever it is that they think is going to be successful. So, the conversation of, have you thought about what you want to do when you grow up? We have those conversations with our students. And it is important that students understand why they're going into school and why they are learning what they're learning, because it will be something that they would need or would be using something in later in life, and how it all ties in. So, one of the routine that I have in front of my books, where you would expect the students to write their name, what lesson it is, who's their teacher, what classroom they're in, so on. I also ask them to write your dream job, write your goal, write your goal on that. And if it's something that they're like, oh, I don't know, I'll be like, yeah, no, not a problem. Go home, research it, think about it, come back and tell me. And over the year, your goal might change. Your goal might change, then you just need to change that and update it what your goal is going to be. So that when my students are coming in to my classroom, I'm not saying, oh, hello, John, hello, so-and-so, hello, son. It's like, hello there, your first day of accounting, I see. How are you? You good? Lawyer, well done. Hello, welcome. So with that little routine that I have, that then inspires them and gets them to start to see the reason why they are in school. And what you would see, they just lift themselves up. Usually, as your body language, if your body just down like this, those of you that can't see me, and when you address them as that, oh, hello, yeah, hi. The dynamics of your classroom just completely changes. And that's where, it starts to click, like, this ain't just a job, right? Your input to a student could make a massive difference. Now, I want to share some of the positive. I want to share some of the positive experience that I've had as a teacher, which makes me feel and know that it is more than just a job. There was the student who was looking to go into law, and every time I see him, he's like, you know what, because of you, sir, I got that grade. Because of you, sir, I got that grade. Right? For me, I'm going in doing my job, right? But it's not, because for him, because he didn't think he could have achieved that grade. And through whatever strategies that I have used and we have worked, it's all his hard work. I'm just making sure that I'm navigating him and hints and tips, giving him those to make that change. Right? And because of that, he probably had an option of, having to do a different course. So, if he doesn't get this grade in maths, for, like, let's just say if you're doing some sort of medicines, or you want to go into A-level to do certain sciences, you would need a certain A-level maths, certain GCSE maths. Or even if you're going to do A-level maths, you would need grade 7 to do A-level maths in some schools. So in order to do that, it is something that I would say they, because of that support, they're like, yeah, I got in because of you, sir. Thank you for that. And, that is where you see you're making a difference. You are allowing people to achieve their dream, their goals, and helping them to make that decision. Whereas, if you just go in and say, yeah, I'm just going to do my job, go home, you have to go in there and realize you're there to make a difference, inspire people. Right. I've written quite a lot of points, and I do worry sometimes that I'm not going to get time to go through all of them. So I'll try my very best to stick on our time and move on once I have discussed enough on a certain point. Evening to you as well, Taylor. Thank you for getting involved. Is that Lee Taylor? Welcome to the show, and thank you for your comment. All right, so part 2, becoming a teacher. So all these amazing things of a teacher, there is obviously a part that you have to follow, or a possible avenue that you could take in order to become a teacher. So just to share the part that I followed, I did business management and finance in De Montfort University, graduated in 2014. after my graduation, I just took a job at a local. It was at RSA. It was a like a temporary role. Then that's straight after, because I didn't want to just sit around and do nothing. I thought to myself, if I do that, I'm just going to get too... Because, I know a lot of people be like, I'm not going to apply for... I'm not going to get a random job. I'm going to get the job that, I did my degree in. So they keep waiting. So you're there without a job. No money coming in, and you're just getting used to sitting at home doing nothing. So I thought, that's something that I did not want to do. So I got a job. While I had that job, so what I was doing was applying for graduate schemes at BGL, which is part of Compare the Market. I had a couple of interviews, but then obviously it wasn't, the outcome wasn't what I wanted. So what I did was I thought, okay, I'll apply myself, get into the company and, work my way up. So I applied at the call center. And then try to so I thought to myself, I'm going to keep applying for the graduate scheme, but at the same time try to progress internally. And I was there for 5 years. Internally I managed to obviously move around the company, but it was getting to the point where I thought, okay, now I couldn't see myself progressing both financially and both by career. So then I thought, okay, what else can I use my qualification for? What I can use my degree for? And that's when I thought of teaching. And at that time, even now, it's very scarce to find any maths teachers and English teachers and science teachers. There's a massive demand for those, and there's grants are available for those, any of you that wants to go into maths, English and science. I would highly recommend. So they applied for the training. The training then started in 2017, I think it was. And it's a year training. So I did what we call a SKIP program, where it's like a school center. You're based in a school. You can do something at university as well. There are many avenues that you can take in terms of your qualification. But generally, you need to have GCSEs at grade 4, or, the old Cs that you used to have, especially in maths and English, and possibly, science as well, depending on what you're looking to go into teaching. If you're even looking to teach primary, they might ask for your science GCSE. You also need a degree in any subject to teach primary and secondary. So if you have one or equivalent qualification, you can, do postgraduate training as well, PGC, which is what I did. Right, so you done GCSE, A levels, and you got a undergraduate degree. Then you can obviously go to what we call a PGCE, or if you do not have a PGCE, you can do the undergraduate teacher training to a degree. So you need that level 7 of the UK education equivalent. So if you don't have the degree, then you would need to do the undergraduate degree, where alongside you become what we call a qualified teacher. So you get the QTS. But if you got the degree already, so mine, for example, business management and finance, because it was 80% of it was maths, I was able to then go into maths as I got the subject degree, and then graduate as a qualified teacher, but also a PGC postgraduate teacher training that we did. Obviously, there is a undergraduate and postgraduate teacher training course fee, which are around 9,000, just over 9,000. You can apply for the tuition fee, which I did, and like you would with the university, with the UCAS, you would need to go through that for maintenance loan, even though you may already have a student loan from your undergraduate degree, so you apply for another one. And like I said, if you're interested in certain subjects, you might be able to get up to £30,000 tax-free to support you while you are training. And, when we say tax-free is support there for training, this money does not have to be paid back. Obviously, there are certain criteria of how long you would have to stay in education, how it gets paid out. But that money is yours, and you can find out more You can go onto the government website, get into teaching on education, and then you'll be able to find more details on that. So if you are considering, this pathway, you need to think about having some experience, such as obviously going to contact your ex-school, say, can I come in? I'm looking to go into teaching. Can I come in for a week or two? And that is a good way to give you a taste of what the classroom is really like. If you like to experience teaching, you're more than welcome to give us a call. We have a Mastermind Tuition Academy run on a Saturday. We can help you and give you some classroom experience if you need. Then you find, once you got your finance and stuff, you need to find which training course that you want to do, whether it's QTS or PGC. With the PGC, obviously, and QTS, you can do both as well, which is what I did. And that's, you apply for the teacher training, and then you start your teacher training course. It will involve, so for example, if you've done the SKIP program, school centered, that involves classroom placement in at least 2 schools. So I was in one school from September to December, and I started off very, very light timetable. So I was observing the class. So I was with the classroom teacher, just observing them, seeing what they're doing, learning from them. And then after a couple of weeks, started teaching that same class. Maybe start off with one lesson, then slowly start building up my timetable. So by Christmas, it was at, around 80% my timetable was where you are teaching. And then after Christmas, you go to a different school. And then, you come back last term to your main school again. And so all of most of the courses, they start in September. And, with these courses, most of them, with full-time courses, they take 9 months, and part-time courses can take 18 to 24 months. The undergraduate courses, they usually take 4 years. If you haven't got a degree, so if you're taking that role, if you're taking that journey, so at the end of it, you become a graduate with a teacher training status. Some teacher training providers, they will recommend you to start thinking about job applications. So I started training in September, applied for a job in December, and alhamdulillah, I was successful in December. So I had a job secured to start the following year in September. And yeah, you start your career. Before, they used to have like a year of NQT. So now you start your job, and you start what you call the early career teacher. So you start as a ECT, and that ECT, so you've done your training now, and then you start as a ECT, which is 2-year course. The training, it will involve obviously you attending one of the lectures on one of the days of the week, and obviously you teaching the other days in your school. And then you will obviously, you're learning at this point, so there'll be a lot of you just observing what other people are doing, asking questions, going into meetings and asking what this, learning the system, the processes, and so on. And then also developing your resources, your strategies, trying things out in the classroom and seeing how you can improve those. So once your training year is done, you got a job, you're starting your ECT year, which is 2 year. This is a paid job, and you're doing your ECT along the side. So you're basically an early career teacher. What that means is you just have to compile evidence. And this is probably like, for me, it seemed like nothing compared to my training year, to be honest. And because like I said, it gets really, really easy after the training year. So you will compile some evidence over the year, and you just have to, so you'll have a mentor that you'll probably see every week, and they'll ask you questions like, how's your lesson with year 9? They'll probably come and observe you once every term. And that's something that I did as well with some of my trainees. They'll observe your lessons and give you some feedback that will compile into a report. And that is how you would complete your 2 years of training. Your 2 years of ECT. and that's it. You will be at that by then you will be full flowing, you could say experienced teacher now, know exactly what to do, where to get the information from, and so on. So I did say about the time, I'm going to be, I'll do my very, very, very best to make sure that we're covering everything. So that is the pathway that you can take to becoming a teacher. As I said, any of you interested or would like to get some experience of what it's like being in a classroom in front of the student, give us a call. You can get in touch with Mastermind. We're available on all social media. We are more than happy to support people out there to get more people into teaching, because we truly do believe it's the best thing that we have ever seen and best career. So if you are thinking about it, would like some experience, try it out, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to support you guys and answer any questions. Right, so that's the possible pathway that you can take. As I said, there are obviously other options out there that are available in order to become a qualified teacher. There is also, you can, if you have a degree in a certain subject, for example, you did a degree in maths, you can also apply into a school as an unqualified teacher as well. Obviously, there's a difference in salaries as such, but that option is also available for you, and that is something that you can start doing, and then if you're interested, then do the qualification afterwards. Teacher. So in terms of salaries, what you can expect, it's very easy. Something that I'm doing right now, to be honest. If you go into Google, just type in main teacher pay scale. You've got some unions. So just to let you know, as a teacher, you would also highly advise to join a union if there are any issues. As you can imagine, obviously, you're working with so many different stakeholders, such as your school, you got students, you got parents. There's so much going on, and to protect yourself, because there's so many regulations, so many things that we have to all follow to protect you and the students and your school, is important to join one of the unions that provide a lot of information and just ensures that you are all protected. So usually you would start from main pay scale. For a qualified teacher, you probably you start with M1. M1 has now, I think, is gone to. There are slightly different scales for if you are in London. Right, so M1, I believe, it's gone to 30,000 now with the new changes. And then you got, and then M2 would be like 31,700 something. It just keeps going up in terms of your range. So it goes to M6, and there's a range of within that scale that your school can offer. And you can always, obviously, if you apply for a school, and you can negotiate for them to start you on M2 rather than M1. And if you're moving from a school to school, usually if you would expect people to probably, if they're working at a school, they were M2, they probably moved to another school, they probably would have offered them M3, because that could possibly be a reason to move. But usually you'd expect it to be the same pay scale or going up in pay scale. As well as obviously the main pay scale, there's also teaching and learning responsibility, where so if you're like second in department, you got other responsibilities such as managing key stage 4 year 11s all the way to year 9s, or key stage 3, in terms of their assessments, or as an overview of if you're managing that, there's an additional payments that you get paid, which are added into your salary. And if you got any other, like your head of house, or that would also include the teaching learning responsibility. The unqualified teacher, I think that I believe starts at 20,600, just under that, and can all go all the way up to 32,000. So once you're done with the main pay scale, there's a UPS as well, the UPR, the upper pay scale range, And then after that, then you are on a, what we call like a leadership skills if you go down that route. Right, so the heart of teaching, the joys and the challenging, that's what we started off with and shared some possible good moments that I've had as a teacher, and then explain how teaching is more than just a job and the impact it has on our society and how it can become like a continued effect through generations. Then we discussed the different paths that you can take to become a teacher, the qualification you need to become a teacher, and what you could expect on a teacher training, and also what you could financially be earning as a teacher. Again, it's the best job, and alhamdulillah, so blessed that I've been blessed with this job. I wouldn't change it for the world. And for anyone out there, you are more than welcome to please do come and become a teacher. Thank you for listening to Education Matters.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.